Hi, today we're doing notes for 3.6, negations of conditional statements and De Morgan's laws. So first, the negation of if P then Q is P and not Q. So this can be expressed as the negation of, or it is not true that, if P then Q is equivalent to P and not Q. So first we have to write the negation of, if you do not have a fever, you do not have the flu. So go ahead and take a minute and please write the negation of this. Okay, so in doing the negation, we keep P the same. So we would say, you do not have a fever. And then we take the negation of the second part. So we would say, and you have the flu. All right, so here's a reminder of all of our different types of conditional statements. So our conditional is if P, then Q. The converse is if Q, then P. The inverse is if not P, then not Q. The contrapositive is if not Q, then not P. And then the negation now is P and not Q. And then as a reminder, we talked about the other day that the conditional and the contrapositive, these have equivalent meanings. Okay? All right, next is De Morgan's laws. So De Morgan's laws, if I have, it is not true that P and Q, so here we're negating a conjunction. So to negate a conjunction, we're going to negate each component and change the and to or. So the negation of P and Q is going to be the opposite of P or the opposite of Q. Similarly, we have, it is not true that P or Q, so to negate a disjunction, we're going to negate each component and change the or to and. So here it's not true that P or Q, that's equivalent to not P and not Q. All right, so next we have to write a statement that is equivalent to, it is not true that Bart Simpson and Tony Soprano are cartoon characters. So it is not true that Bart Simpson and Tony Soprano are cartoon characters. So here we have the negation of a conjunction. This is equivalent to not P or not Q. So if I write this in words, this would be Bart Simpson is not a cartoon character or Tony Soprano is not a cartoon character. Okay, for number 3, we have to write a statement that's equivalent to, it is not true that you leave by 5 p.m. or you do not arrive home on time. I would like you to try and do this one, please. So if I wrote this out symbolically, it is not true that you leave by 5 p.m. or you do not arrive home on time. So symbolically, this is equivalent to the negation of P or becomes and now the negation of Q becomes Q. So if we write this in words, we would say, you do not leave by 5 p.m. and you arrive home on time. Here's our next one. We're writing some negations. It says write the negation for each of the following statements. For A, it says all horror movies are scary and some are funny. So we have to take into account, we have this quantifier all and this quantifier some. Okay, so here we have all horror movies are scary, so that's P, and some are funny. That's our Q. And we want to write the negation of this. So I'm negating this entire statement, which means we can use De Morgan's laws and write this as not P or not Q. So the negation of all is some are not. So some horror movies are not scary, or the negation of some is none. So we would say or none are funny. Our next one, for B, it says your workouts are strenuous or you do not get stronger. I want you to take a minute and write the negation of this one. So if we write this symbolically, your workouts are strenuous is P, or you do not get stronger, negation of Q. And we want the negation of this statement. So again, we can use De Morgan's laws to negate this. So we'll have negation of P or becomes and. Negation of Q is Q. So then if we write this in English, we have your workouts are not strenuous and you get stronger. Last one, this says write a statement that is equivalent to if it is not windy, we can swim and we cannot sail. So I want you to take a minute and see if you can come up with a statement that is equivalent to this. Okay, so if I write this out symbolically, it says if it is not windy, so I'll call this negation of P, then we can swim, which is Q, and we cannot sail, which is negation of R. Now keep in mind, if I want something equivalent to a conditional statement, it's always equivalent to the contrapositive. And the contrapositive means we negate and switch the antecedent and the consequent. So when we do this, I'll take the second part and negate it. So it is not true that Q and not R. Then it is not true that the negation of P. So now we can simplify this using De Morgan's laws. I can take this negative and put it through. So this becomes negation of Q or R. So if not Q or R, then negation of P becomes P. So now let's write our sentence. And this would say, if we cannot swim or we can sail, then it is windy. And that's the end for today.